let's get into the Belko experiment right now. You and I saw that yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wasn't aware. Whenever I first saw the trailer, I was under the impression that James Gunn wrote and directed this movie.
Yeah, he just wrote it.
He just wrote it. In fact, he wrote it years ago.
Yeah.
And then kind of just stepped away from the project. It had been greenlit, but then he started doing some other things, I guess. And someone had contacted him and was like, hey, we want to do this movie now. And so he stayed on as a producer, I guess, but he still got the writing credit for it and producer credit. He did not direct it. And I think it kind of shows, because going into the movie, especially if you look at the poster, it says, Office Space meets Battle Royale. But there's not a lot of comedy in this film.
Not a heck of a lot.
There's a lot of brutality.
Sorry,
Are you
that
done?
came on very suddenly.
Are you done? Can we continue, please?
I'm never done.
A lot of the complaints that I'm seeing about this movie, because it's not getting the most positive reviews, even though I particularly did enjoy it.
Yeah, I did too.
But a lot of the complaints that I'm seeing is that, there's not enough office supply related deaths. Like,
that's honestly probably one of my biggest complaints too. Why isn't someone killed with a pencil?
Well, if you think about it though, if you think about how this situation would play out in real life, I think they nailed it.
Yeah.
Finding knives and breaking into the armory and all that kind of stuff to get the guns that are in the building makes a lot more sense. Now, there was that one scene where the girl, does the paper cutter thing, where she hits a dude with that.
Makes herself a little machete.
Yeah. But I think overall, that movie was scary to me because, and I think I told you this yesterday, there's nothing scarier than real life. There's nothing scarier than what people are actually capable of. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of scenes where I was just like, fuck. And they really don't, it's pretty relentless throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of death, and it's not, played over the top gory like you would expect. I've been a fan of James Gunn's movies, especially his movies that he's directed, like Slither and Super.
Yeah.
And, Guardians of the Galaxy. And those are very lighthearted, but also kind of, some of them are a little more gory than others.
Yeah.
So this one, I was expecting that, and we didn't get that. We didn't get Office Space meets Battle Royale. We just got Battle Royale in an office building.
Yeah.
I also didn't realize that the story took place in Colombia.
Really?
Until I saw the movie. And here's the thing, Chris, I only saw the two trailers from the two movies that we saw together.
Yeah, but it was said in at least one of the trailers that the building was in Colombia.
Dude, I don't recall that stuff.
My biggest, and it's not even a problem that I had with the movie. It was just a constant sense of dread.
Right.
And just tension that wouldn't release.
Yeah, until the very end, and even then it doesn't really let up that much, because it does kind of tease maybe a sequel, or the fact that this experiment isn't over and that it's being done, spoilers, in more than one place.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting, just the whole concept of the film, and you really ask yourself while you're watching it, how would I react in a situation like that? Would you be the the hero who, the main character says, no, we shouldn't do all this killing? Would you end up being like John C. McGinley's character?
It just goes ham.
Who goes, hard as a motherfucker. Or the COO character who, you can kind of see his motivations and understand them, because he's like, I've got kids, so, I've got people to take care of, and we're going to try and do this in a fair manner. But at the same time, I think, if it were me, honestly, I would probably at first try and find a place to hide to where no one can find me. And then if that didn't work, I'd probably just kill myself.
Yeah.
That's just, I can't think of another scenario. I would not want to butcher people to death. That's for sure. And I don't know, man. It's tough. It makes you ask yourself some of those tough questions.
Yeah.
Easy there, buddy.
I'm still getting over my stuff. And I told you this yesterday when we were driving back. that I don't think that I would have the moral strength of character to go the route that the main character Mike does.
Right.
His absolute refusal to kill anyone until he is absolutely forced to.
Yeah. You don't think you'd have that? Do you think you would just go on a killing spree?
I don't think I'd go on a killing spree.
Or at least just enough to defend yourself?
Yeah.
And still, even if, okay, so one person makes it out alive, what happens next?
Yeah.
Do you think they're really going to let him go and live a normal life after, taking part in that?
There is no living a normal life after that.
Right. And, what comes after that? What's phase 2? Have you theorized on what that could be? Stage 2 of the experiment
would be. Well, I posited that potentially they would try to get all of the people that survive all of these various Belko experiments across the world in one experiment. And maybe they're trying to
the best.
Yeah, trying to create the ultimate survival or something.
I don't know, man, because that doesn't seem that plausible to me either.
Right.
Because after they've all gone through that, horrific ordeal, some people that won may have been the John C. McGinley. Some people that won could have been like the Mikes
COO.
or whatever, or the COO, who were trying to do it for, somewhat reasonable reasons or motivation. But it's weird. It's an odd movie. I definitely enjoyed it. It's not something that I would watch over and over again. I'm not sure if, someone asked me today what I thought about it while I was at work, and you and I had to go out of town. We had to drive 30 minutes out of town to go see it because it wasn't playing in our local theater. And I was like, it's worth seeing in the movie theater if you don't have to drive out of town to go.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I would say on that. It's worth a download. It's worth a Netflix, kind of thing. Is this going to be, movie of the year? No, probably not. It's definitely not going to be the best horror movie or thriller of the year because we've already gotten one that's better with Get Out.
Yeah.
But as far as just a good afternoon of fun, I would recommend it. And Sean Gunn is worth the price of admission.
Sean Gunn is great. My girlfriend asked me about it, and so I was telling her a little bit about it last night, and I said, it's not a popcorn movie.
Right.
It's not you're gonna laugh a little bit at certain situations.
And there's a few scenes in there, without giving too much of it away for people that are listening that haven't seen it, there's a few scenes that are just, brutal, and then there's that moment of levity at the end, which almost seems like you have to have that there to have that breather.
Yeah.
But I really don't buy into the argument from some of the detractors that it should have been more funny or that it should have had more office-related deaths, because if you're looking at this movie is not a comedy in any way, shape, or form. It's not a comedy.
And that makes it even stranger that they cast so many great comedians in roles in this movie. One of I think he was an IT guy, and I can't remember the actual actor's name, but he's on the show Silicon Valley on HBO.
Was it the long-haired kid?
With the glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Big Head on Silicon Valley.
I really liked his character in this movie.
Yeah.
Because he was, funny and sincere.
Yeah.
Honestly, the way he was interacting with his coworker at the beginning, and they were talking about a bug got loose or whatever. I was like, that's a cute scene. I like that. But there was a lot of things that I thought it was setting up that didn't pay off.
Yeah.
I honestly thought, since that it was that one girl's first day there, I thought she would be one of the ones to survive.
I mean, she made it farther.
She did, but she didn't make it.
Yeah.
All in all, when it's all said and done, she didn't make it. But the Belko experiment, to me, I don't know, man. It's worth watching once. But other than that, I mean, I would recommend it, like I said, for an afternoon movie, but is it going to win any awards? No. Probably not going to do, gangbusters at the box office or anything, especially going up against Beauty and the Beast, which we'll talk about next. But overall, if I were to rate it, maybe a 6 out of 10.
Really?
Is that fair?
I would probably rank it a little bit higher because, I mean, it's just so magnificently psychologically exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, there is a lot of stuff that's happening in this movie that makes you think about yourself, makes you think about your morality, your personal choices that you would make in these situations.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
What kind of things happen to people that are placed in extreme circumstances like this? It's almost as though the movie itself is the experiment. How do you react to this movie, and what do you learn from it?
Yeah, I guess you have a point. I will say the shining part of the movie is the soundtrack.
Yeah.
The Spanish versions of popular older songs like I Will Survive and California Dreamin'. Of course, I'm a big Mamas and the Papas fan, so I really appreciated that. There was a lot of jump scares. I know I noticed you jumping a few times.
Yeah, I jump scares are really bad for me.
Yeah, but like, I mean, you can't see me obviously if you're listening to this, but I just kind of sat there with like my head, like my hand over my forehead, just being like, oh fuck, oh my god, just on certain moments, because I was just like, oh, this is terrible. This is just I was
glad that I didn't get a drink, so that I could white knuckle grasp the drink holder.
Yeah. But anyway, what did you think of the Belko experiment? If you saw it, let us know in the comments below.
If you didn't see it, maybe go see it. It's pretty, like, we didn't ask the question, but would you recommend it?
Yeah. Like I said, I'd recommend it for an afternoon. Movie, or Netflix or something like that.
Yeah,
or I would have to go too far out of your way. Matinee.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. I would absolutely recommend it. I hope it does well, because I love James Gunn and I want him to continue writing really weird and interesting stuff like this.
Well, I think he will. Because
it's James Gunn.
Of Guardians of the Galaxy and other movies of his. I don't think that we're gonna see the last of James Gunn.
Oh, of course not.
Surely. All right, let's move on.